For millions of people around the world, tea is not something they drink occasionally. It's something they drink every day. Perhaps first thing in the morning, during an afternoon break, after dinner, or in a quiet moment before the day begins. And that raises an interesting question. What actually happens when you drink tea every day? Does a daily tea habit change anything? Your health? Your energy? Your attention? Perhaps even the rhythm of your day. Welcome back to TeaMinded. I'm glad you're here. Today we're exploring what can happen when tea becomes part of your everyday life. Not as a miracle drink, not as a cure for everything, but as something much simpler, a daily habit. When people talk about the benefits of tea, the conversation usually begins with health, and there is good reason for that. True teas, including green tea, black tea, white tea, oolong, and pu'er, all come from the same plant, Camellia sinensis. These teas naturally contain compounds such as polyphenols that have been widely studied for their antioxidant properties. Green tea, in particular, receives a great deal of attention. But one of the important things to remember is that there is no single tea that everyone needs to drink. Different teas offer different experiences, and the healthiest tea may simply be the one you enjoy enough to drink consistently. Tea also contains caffeine, usually less than coffee, although the amount can vary considerably depending on the type of tea and how it is brewed. For some people, that means tea provides a gentler way to introduce caffeine into the day, a sense of alertness, focus, energy, without necessarily feeling the same intensity they experience with coffee. The combination of caffeine and L-theanine is one reason many tea drinkers describe the experience of tea as alert but calm, focused but not necessarily rushed. Of course, everyone responds to caffeine differently. For some people, even tea can interfere with sleep. Others may need to limit caffeine for personal or medical reasons. And drinking large amounts of very strong tea is not automatically better than enjoying a few well-brewed cups. More is not always better. But perhaps one of the most practical benefits of drinking tea every day is surprisingly simple. Tea can replace other beverages. A cup of unsweetened tea may take the place of a soda, a heavily sweetened coffee drink, or another beverage containing significant amounts of added sugar. In that sense, some of the benefits of a daily tea habit may come not only from what you're adding to your life, but from what tea quietly replaces. Then there is hydration. Despite the caffeine, tea still contributes to daily fluid intake for most people. A warm cup in the morning, iced tea in the afternoon, herbal tea in the evening. Over the course of a day, those cups can become part of a broader hydration routine. But I think there is another side of drinking tea every day that receives far less attention, and it may be just as important: the ritual. When you do something every day, it begins to shape the rhythm of your life. Tea can become a marker, a transition, a small point of stability in the day. Perhaps you make tea before opening your laptop in the morning. Perhaps you step away from work in the afternoon and brew a pot of oolong. Perhaps you prepare herbal tea in the evening as a signal that the day is beginning to slow down. The tea itself matters, but so does the pause. At TeaMinded, we often talk about attention, and a daily tea practice creates repeated opportunities to pay attention. You notice the water heating, the leaves, the aroma, the steam rising from the cup, the first sip. These are small things, but our lives are largely made of small things. A daily tea ritual doesn't need to be elaborate. You don't need expensive teaware. You don't need rare tea. You don't need 30 quiet minutes and a perfectly arranged tea table. Sometimes it's simply a cup, a few leaves, hot water, and 5 minutes. But when that small ritual happens every day, something interesting can occur. You begin to look forward to it. The tea becomes familiar, comforting, a moment that belongs to you. And perhaps this is why tea has remained part of daily life across so many cultures for so long. Tea is remarkably adaptable. It can be social or solitary, formal or casual, complex or simple. You can spend years studying tea, or you can simply make a cup and enjoy it. Drinking tea every day can also deepen your appreciation for flavor. When you regularly drink loose-leaf tea, you begin to notice differences. One green tea tastes fresh and grassy. Another is sweet and umami-rich. One black tea is malty. Another tastes like dried fruit. An oolong may be floral in one infusion and creamy in the next. The more you pay attention, the more the world of tea seems to expand. What once seemed like a simple beverage becomes a landscape of regions, cultivars, harvests, craftsmanship, traditions, and stories. But there is an important reality worth mentioning. Tea is not magic. Drinking tea every day will not compensate for poor sleep, a poor diet, a lack of movement, or other habits that influence health and well-being. And adding large amounts of sugar to every cup changes the equation. The benefits of tea are best understood as part of a larger pattern of daily life, not as a shortcut. Perhaps that's actually one of the things I appreciate most about tea. It doesn't need to promise transformation overnight. Tea works slowly, quietly, one cup at a time. A daily tea habit may encourage you to drink more water, consume fewer sugary drinks, explore new flavors, take a break, slow down, pay attention. None of these things seem dramatic on their own, but repeated every day, small things can become meaningful. So what happens when you drink tea every day? The answer will be different for everyone. You may discover a beverage you genuinely enjoy. You may find a more balanced way to consume caffeine. You may become curious about cultures and traditions far beyond your own. You may develop a deeper appreciation for craftsmanship. Or perhaps, you simply create one small moment each day when you stop doing everything else and make tea. That may not sound revolutionary, but in a world where our attention is constantly being pulled in different directions, perhaps it is. The next time you make tea, consider where it fits into the rhythm of your day. Is it something you drink without noticing? Or could it become a moment you actually look forward to? You don't need to drink tea all day. You don't need to chase every possible health benefit. And you don't need to turn tea into another task to optimize. Just make a cup, pay attention, and see what happens when a simple ritual becomes part of your everyday life. As TeaMinded continues, we'll keep exploring tea culture, craftsmanship, tea rituals, mindfulness, and intentional living through the lens of tea. But today, I hope this episode encourages you to think about tea not only as something you drink, but as a small daily practice. Thank you for listening to TeaMinded. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast on Spotify and share it with someone who loves tea, wellness, daily rituals, or simply finding more intentional ways to move through the day. And until next time, put the kettle on, enjoy the ritual, and stay tea-minded.